Hey everybody, welcome back to Battlestar Galactica Remembered, and we're taking a look at another weird and wacky issue once again from Battlestar Galactica that has persisted from the very early days, and that is Boxey Serina's son, or is he an orphan? Now you've heard of this one, right? This one, it's always been mentioned, and why is that? What's going on? You know, we're looking at these major issues that still persist to this day. All right, and it goes back. It's much like if you saw one of my last recent videos about the Cylons, right? The Boxey issue is very similar to that, right? What is shown in the show, all right, the actual TV show, Boxey is Serina's son, all right? There's no question about that. In the very beginning, you know, when the bombs are dropping and all that during the attack, right? She sees him running. She screeches his name, right? Boxey, Boxey. Well, you know, she's not going to say that for an orphan, right? So he's her son. And then, you know, he tells her, oh, I wish he could be my daddy, right? That kind of thing. That's not something the orphan would be telling this woman, right? So I think it's very, very clear, right? In the show, Boxey is Serina's son. And it's a much more, you know, it kind of draws you into the story a lot more, especially with how they originally had Serina going to be dying. Remember that? And she wanted to leave Boxey to Apollo, you know, for him to take care of her and that kind of stuff. So it was much more poignant, I think, that he was actually her son, right? A great connection there between Serina and to Apollo also. Okay, so he is her son. Well, then where does this idea about Boxey being an orphan come from? Well, once again, you got to go back to the very beginning, Glenn Larson's original vision for what Battlestar was going to be. And in all the early drafts, Boxey was an orphan. That's where it comes from. That's what Glenn Larson originally wanted out of the character of Boxey. Boxey was an orphan. And Serina, you know, picks him up and kind of takes care of him, and there you go. And again, once again, where can you find out, you know, kind of what happened or what that original vision? Read the Battlestar Galactica novelization. In that novel, Boxey is an orphan. It's interesting, right? That was the original plan. Just like, again, Baltar was going to be executed. The Cylons are creatures. Boxey was an orphan. So that's why it still persists. And to this day, you know, they've never re-edited the novel. Maybe they could have, I guess, in version 2.0 or something. But they never have. So if you want to read, again, the early vision of Glenn Larson and see what that miniseries Battlestar would have looked like, read the novelization. And again, I'm going to have a video very soon about that. And so there it is, right? That was the original vision. They changed it once again as production started, and they thought, nah, you know, if we're going to keep Serina around, right, we need to make Boxey her son. And then, of course, she ends up getting killed off anyway, but it still works because she was going to die anyway. And Boxey was her son, and now he's Apollo's son, right? So that's the story. So once again, that change from the mini-series to the weekly series, I cannot stress enough. We keep talking about it every single time. How much of a difference that change really made to the characters and the storylines. And this is just another one. So that's why to this day, we still get people, oh no, he was an orphan. No, he's her son. No, you know, that. Well, you know, yeah, the original plan was that he was going to be an orphan, but they changed it. And in the show, he is her son, right? So that one, again, kind of like the Cylon question, it's pretty simple. It was one way at first, but then they changed it, and we got the other version, right? So there you go. Boxey is Serina's son in the TV show that actually aired. But he was an orphan in the early going and in the novel to this day. You can still read that. So anyway, I hope you do. Pick up a novel. If you haven't read it, pick one up, read it. If you haven't read it in a long time, read it again. It's a great read. And again, it gets you a little closer to Glenn Larson's original vision of what that original miniseries version was going to be like. So anyway, it's very cool. Long live Battlestar Galactica, and I will see you in the next video.